Good evening. This is Front Page by AIM Network, India's definitive media organization and voice on everything AI and technology. India's AI infrastructure and the power the decade. Tonight, India just got a global validation that sounds like a trophy, but is actually a challenge. India is now ranked number 3 in the world in AI competitiveness. So behind only the United States and China, based on Stanford Human-Centered Artificial Intelligence, which stands for HAI, a global AI vibrancy tool. And of course, if you have been following Front Page, which I'm sure you have been, you already know why this matters. AI is beyond the software story. It's national capacity. It's compute, chips, power, talent, research, policy, and speed. So what Stanford is really saying will be better explained with these numbers. United States, 78.6. China, 36.95. India, 21.59. Yeah, that gap matters because it tells you one very brutal truth. India is number 3, but it's not even close to number 1 or, for that matter, number 2 yet. This is a checkpoint. And Stanford's framing is important. This tool doesn't just measure who has the best models, it looks at an ecosystem across pillars like talent, research and development, infrastructure, economy, policy, public opinion, and responsible AI. Essentially, who can sustain an AI century? India's rise is powered by something we've had for decades, which is people, engineers, builders, researchers in the making. Basically, the world's largest applied tech workforce. This is the India model. Not we printed trillions for compute first. Not we nationalized the entire AI stack. Instead, we scaled skill first. We scaled builders first. That's why India can move shockingly fast in applications, healthcare workflows, language translation, citizen services, financial rails, and enterprise automation. And that's also why global companies keep doubling down on India as an AI build hub, because the talent flywheel is very real, my friends, and it keeps compounding. The case in point, here it is. Microsoft, $17.5 billion. Amazon, $35 billion. And Google, $15 billion. All are investing heavily in India with combined commitments totaling over $67.5 billion. What for? Well, to expand the country's AI and cloud infrastructure, boost digital skills, and drive economic growth. Now, of course, it's time to address the elephant, or for that matter, the skepticism in the room. And this is important. A loud critique circulating in the AI community is this. India shows up strongly in skill and adoption, but is still underrepresented in top-tier frontier research outcomes. The kind measured by global conferences, high-impact labs, and foundational breakthroughs. So, well, let's just look at the recent Neural Information Processing System, also known as NeurIPS research. The contributions for a bit. Where are Indian universities? Or for that matter, research firms? For example, where is Ola Krutrim? Where is Zoho? Where are the IITs? Sorry, don't see any, right? That is because whether you agree with the tone or not, the underlying point is strategic. And here it is. If India wants to be number 3 in a way that lasts, it needs more frontier research density inside India, not just Indian talent succeeding abroad. Because in the AI era, the countries that win don't just use models, they build the breakthroughs that everyone else uses. So yes, celebrate the ranking, go ahead, but don't confuse it with the finish line. Every country that leads AI has one thing in common: compute at scale. And compute is not ideology, it's actually infrastructure. That's why India's next phase is all about turning policy into physical capacity. And this is where the government has clearly begun to step up. It's actually a good start, to be honest. India's national push is increasingly focused on access to GPUs, data platforms, and foundational capabilities, not just announcements. Reports around the India AI program highlight scale targets like 38,000 GPUs and a build out of data labs as part of the broader national AI capacity plan. The front page translation to this: India is trying to reduce the compute handicap that blocks startups, universities, and labs from training serious models. And this is the sovereignty layer. BharatGen, government backed, is positioned as a push toward multilingual India First Foundation capability. Sarvam and others are part of the conversation as India moves toward homegrown models that can serve Indian languages, Indian datasets, and Indian public infrastructure workflows. Now, for the front page point. If India doesn't build models, it will permanently rent intelligence from other nations. And renting intelligence is not a long-term strategy. No. This is where India's long game becomes visible. Semiconductor push to reduce dependency and build strategic supply chains. HPC/supercomputing to support science, defense, climate, and national scale AI workloads. Quantum to build next generation research, depth, and strategic computing leadership. And well, the chart says India is number 3, but the distance to the top is huge. The tree map tells a way deeper story, which is the AI world is dominated by a small number of universities and companies that repeatedly produce frontier work. And they sit inside ecosystems where talent plus compute plus labs plus incentives are very tightly knit. In conclusion, here comes the front page take as a result. India's mission now is to create that same loop at home, not just export talent into someone else's loop, which is a good thing. India number 3 is real. It signals global credibility, talent density, adoption energy, and policy momentum. But the gap tells you what comes next, which is this. If India wants to stay number 3 and eventually challenge number 2, the next decade must be about compute access at national scale, research incentives plus research culture, funding students and labs like its strategic infrastructure, building models, not just integrating APIs, chips plus HPC plus quantum as one mission. Because in AI, you don't win by being excited, you win by building capacity faster than everyone else. India didn't reach number 3 because the world gave it a seat. India reached number 3 because its builders forced the world to notice. And now the question is this: can we turn vibrancy into breakthroughs? Also, what about investments? Mohandas Pai summed it up best, saying we need capital. And honestly, to be at number 1, we need lots and lots, and we can add another lots of capital. Please let us know what you think in the comments below. Needless to say, like, share, subscribe. This is Front Page by AIM Network. And always remember, think AI, and this time, think number 1, think AIM.